Have you ever wondered how climate change will impact our world in 2023 and beyond? Will we continue to see extreme weather events, rising sea levels, and devastating wildfires? As we enter a crucial turning point in the fight against climate change, it's more important than ever to stay informed and take action. In this video, we will explore the latest research on climate change and its impact, as well as the innovative solutions being developed to address the global crisis. Join us in this journey to a more sustainable future by hitting that subscribe button and staying up to date on the latest developments. Once upon a time, our planet was facing an existential crisis. The Earth was heating up, the oceans were rising, and the weather was becoming more extreme. It seemed as though the damage we had caused was irreversible and that there was little hope for a sustainable future. But then, something remarkable happened. People around the world began to wake up to the reality of climate change and to take action to create a more sustainable world. In 2023, the effects of this global awakening were starting to become clear. Let's take a look at some of the ways in which the climate change was impacting our planet and the innovative solutions that were being developed to address this crisis. One of the most visible impacts of climate change was the rise of extreme weather events. Across the globe, we were seeing more frequent and more severe heat waves, hurricanes, and wildfires. In some regions, droughts were becoming more common, leading to water shortages and crop failures. But despite these challenges, there was hope. Scientists and researchers were developing new technologies and solutions to mitigate the effects of climate change. For example, in many areas, communities were investing in renewable energy sources like solar and wind power, which were reducing carbon emissions and creating jobs. One of the most exciting developments in renewable energy was the rise of decentralized power grids. Rather than relying on large centralized power plants, these grids were made of many small-scale generators, like rooftop solar panels. This not only reduced our reliance on fossil fuels, but also made our energy systems more resilient in the face of extreme weather events. Another key solution to the climate crisis was the development of more sustainable forms of agriculture. As weather patterns changed and water resources became scarcer, farmers around the world were adopting new techniques to conserve resources and reduce waste. Agriculture has long been recognized as a major contributor to climate change. The farming industry is responsible for a significant portion of global greenhouse gas emissions, primarily through the use of fertilizers, pesticides, and other chemical inputs, as well as the emissions from livestock and the cultivation of crops. However, as the impact of climate change has become increasingly clear, farmers around the world have begun to adopt more sustainable practices to reduce their impact on the environment and mitigate the effects of climate change. One of the key strategies in sustainable agriculture is to reduce the use of chemical inputs and instead promote natural biological methods of pest control and soil fertility. This includes techniques like crop rotation, cover cropping, and intercropping, which can help to build healthier soils and reduce the need for synthetic inputs. For example, cover crops like clover or rye can be planted between cash crops to protect the soil from erosion, reduce nutrient loss, and improve soil health. These crops also provide additional benefits such as providing habitat for the beneficial insects, reducing water evaporation, and contributing to carbon sequestration. Now, in addition to reducing chemical inputs, sustainable agriculture also involves reducing water usage and promoting water conservation. As weather patterns change and water resources become scarcer in some regions, farmers are adopting new techniques to conserve water and ensure that crops have access to adequate moisture. One method of water conservation is through the use of precision irrigation techniques, such as drip irrigation or micro sprinklers. These methods deliver water directly to the plant's roots, reducing waste and minimizing runoff. farmers can also make use of rainwater harvesting and other water storage techniques to ensure that they have access to water even during dry spells. Now, another important aspect of sustainable agriculture is the promotion of biodiversity. This includes the use of agroforestry practices, which integrate trees into farming systems to provide additional benefits like shade, windbreaks, and habitat for wildlife. It also involves reducing the use of monoculture crops, which can lead to soil depletion and pest outbreaks, and instead promoting crop diversity. Finally, sustainable agriculture also involves promoting social and economical sustainability for farmers and their communities. This includes supporting local food systems, reducing food waste, and promoting fair trade and other equitable practices. For example, in many areas, farmers were planting cover crops to help retain moisture in the soil and using precision irrigation techniques to reduce water usage. Some farmers were also embracing regenerative agriculture, a method that focuses on building healthy soils, reducing the use of synthetic fertilizers and pesticides, and promoting biodiversity. In addition to these technological solutions, there was also a growing awareness of the need for policy change to address climate change. Now, governments around the world were implementing carbon pricing schemes, investing in public transportation and infrastructure, and setting ambitious emissions reduction targets. But perhaps most importantly, people around the world were starting to make changes in their daily lives to reduce their carbon footprint. From cycling to work instead of driving, to eating less meat, to reducing energy usage at home, individuals were recognizing that every small action could make a difference in the fight against climate change. So what can we do in 2023 to continue the momentum towards a more sustainable world? First and foremost, we need to continue to stay informed about the latest developments in climate science and to educate ourselves and others about the importance of taking action. The year 2023 is an important year for climate action. With the world facing the devastating impacts of climate change, it is critical that we continue to push for meaningful and effective solutions. To do this, we need to stay informed and educated about the latest developments in climate science, and we need to take action in our own lives and in our communities. One of the most important things we can do is to continue to educate ourselves and others about the importance of taking action on climate change. This means staying up to date with the latest research and news and sharing that information with others. We can also support organizations and groups that are working to raise awareness and drive change, from grassroots activities to international organizations. Now, in addition to education and advocacy, there are many small changes we can make in our own lives to reduce our carbon footprint. This includes reducing energy usage in our homes, such as switching to energy-efficient appliances, turning off lights and electronics when not in use, and reducing our use of heating and air conditioning. Now, we can also reduce our consumption of single-use plastics, recycle and compost whenever possible, and support sustainable businesses and products. However, individual actions alone will not be enough to address the scale of the climate crisis. We also need to push our governments and leaders to take bold and effective action on climate change. This means advocating for policies that prioritize sustainability, such as renewable energy incentives, carbon taxes, and regulations on greenhouse gas emissions. We can also push for changes in our communities, such as supporting public transportation and bike infrastructure and advocating for green spaces and urban forests. By working together, we can create more sustainable and resilient communities that are better equipped to face the challenges of climate change. Ultimately, the most important action we can take is to use our voices and our votes to hold our leaders accountable and push for meaningful change. This means engaging in activism, participation in peaceful protests, and using social media and other platforms to raise awareness and drive change. It also means voting in elections and supporting candidates who prioritize climate action and sustainability. We can also make small changes in our own lives to reduce our carbon footprint, as I said, from reducing energy usage to supporting sustainable businesses. And most importantly, we can push our governments and leaders to take bold action on climate change through advocacy, activism, and our votes. Thank you for joining me in this exploration of climate change in 2023 and its impact on our world. As we have seen, climate change is a complex and urgent issue that requires actions from all of us. I hope this video has inspired you to learn more and to take action in your own life and community. If you found this video informative and thought-provoking, please consider subscribing to my channel for more content on climate change and sustainability. And I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. What actions are you taking to reduce your carbon footprints and advocate for climate action? How do you see the future of our planet in the face of climate change? Let's continue this conversation and work together towards a more sustainable and equitable world. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.